How's it going, everyone? My name is Chris from One More Game, and the Dominaria United spoiler season is finally coming to an end. There were some absolutely insane cards released for this set, and the storyline goes along with it beautifully. In this set, we were giving 2 precon commander decks, and they are quite spicy. In this video, we're going to be reviewing Legends Legacy, a Mardu-based commander deck that focuses heavily on the legendary synergies. In this video, we're going to go over the face commander, the backup option, the amazing inclusions, and the upgrade path that we at One More Game would take. With all my videos, we focus heavily on a budget direction to allow new players to easily purchase a precon and quickly upgrade to a completely more effective deck. As always, we're going to focus on a budget of $20, as these days a $20 investment can go an incredible distance. For Legends Legacy, we have a Dehunda, Binder of Wills, leading the raid with the Shannon, Sleeper Scourge following with backup. Planeswalkers are yet again a commander option, and Dehunda one for the storybooks. Dehunda, Binder of Wills is a 5 loyalty planeswalker for 1 Mardu, and it reads: +2, up to 1 target legendary creature gains Vigilance, Lifelink, and Indestructible until next turn. -3, reveal the top 4 cards of your library and put any number of legendary cards from among them into your hand and the rest in the graveyard, and then create a treasure token for each card put into the graveyard this way. And then -11 is pretty much a win. Gain control of all non-land permanents until the end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste. Dehunda can also be your commander. This is pretty insane for an ultimate, but when it comes to myself, I personally just don't like planeswalkers as the commander because they're pretty much a massive target. So with this one, I'm going to go with the backup. Shanid, Sleeper Scourge. It's the same mana cost, but it's for a 2/4 human knight with menace. Other legendary creatures you control have menace. It's basically pseudo menace tribal. And whenever you play a legendary spell, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Now that is an amazing ability. This is definitely something that wants to lead the overall, in this case, the Scourge. This is a great and phenomenal card. Having a draw effect in the command zone is one of those things that accelerates the board state far more than you can ever imagine. This is definitely who I want to lead as the commander of this deck. And with so many legendary options, especially in Mardu, this is going to be a great deck. Now let's start off with those notable reprints. With every new commander deck, everyone is beyond stoked to see what wizards are going to reprint. In Legends Legacy, there is no exception. The top cards I have found to be perfect reprints are Captain Lannery Storm, Shizo Death Storehouse, and Night's Whisper. Captain Lannery Storm is a great 2/2 haster that creates treasure tokens when it attacks, and it gets +1/+0 buff when you sacrifice a treasure. And that also affects on simply just using those for mana, so it's a pretty awesome card. Shizo Death Storehouse is a card that has not been printed in a very long time. It taps to add black to your mana pool, but you can also tap a black and tap it for target legendary creature to gain fear until end of turn. Fear is one of those abilities that people just don't remember too often, so it's definitely a great way to get the last little bit of commander damage in there. And then Night's Whisper is just a phenomenal draw effect. 1 in a black, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. This card is going up around 2 change. It's definitely great to have this reprint in the deck. Now with every reprint comes an equally better new card. Here are the top cards for the new format that they include: the Peregrine Dynamo, Gerard's Hourglass Pendant, and Kadric's Soul Kindler. These are pretty much phenomenal cards to commander format. The Peregrine Dynamo is basically the most ultimate colorless commander now. You can pay 1 with a haste ability, copy target activated or triggered ability of any other legendary source that's not your commander, and choose new targets. Plus it's a 1/5 for 3 generic. Yeah, that's a beater. Gerard's Hourglass Pendant, a single colorless mana with flash. If a player were to begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. Yeah, so we're going to stop those infinite turn players for a single colorless. Plus pay 4, tap it, and exile it. Return to the battlefield tapped all artifact, creature, enchantments, and land cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. So if someone's going to wrath your entire board, guess what? We're bringing it all back. In Kadric's Soul Kindler, 2 Boros for a 4/3 Dwarf Wizard. The legend rule does not apply to tokens you control. Yeah, that's pretty insane. We're going to copy up some epic creatures and just make them go crazy on the board state. Whenever another non-token legendary permanent enters the battlefield, all you need to do is pay 1 generic mana. If you do, you create a token that's a copy of it. That token gains haste and sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah, you're going to lose it, but for the amount of cards out there that say end the turn, this is going to be a phenomenal staple in Boros now. Now it's time for the fun part, the upgrades. Now just before we get into that, I'd like to remind everyone to be sure to subscribe to the channel because it goes a very long way into helping us out. Thank you again for all of your support. Also, quick disclaimer. If you have the funds, I always recommend upgrading the mana base of these decks. Though they are not the worst, they are also not the best. Upgrading the mana base of a deck will forever help a deck function more effectively and efficiently. Being a legendary tribal deck, the best inclusions have to be legendary cards. It's pretty straightforward. Now here's what I'd include. The absolute easiest option to include would be legendary lands. We have Carrot Keep and Flagstones of Trakia because they offer amazing value and they're incredibly low cost because they're lands. They cost nothing. There are tons of legendary lands out there, but these are such a low cost, it's great. Being able to draw a card off of playing a land is an insane ability. Following up, we have Thalia's Lancers and Search for Glory, which are two great tutor effects, and for such a low cost. Having a 4/4 body with first strike, or simply looking for a 2 generic and a white for any legendary card, that's pretty insane. These are definitely two of the first cards I would throw into this deck. When looking for the highest efficiency of value, we also want to include Legion's Landing and Hope of Garifur. These are 1-drops that they themselves are legendary, so we're going to draw a card off them and have great late game overall effects on the board state. Legion's Landing can tap to create a 1/1 to basically widen the board, and Hope of Garifur can help stop our opponents from going off. These are definitely great ways to disrupt the game. If we want to build a legendary army, we gotta again focus on that disruption. We want to ensure we slow our opponents down with cards like Thalia Guardian of Thraben, which will make all non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. And one of my favorites, Kambal Consul of Allocation. Whenever a player were to, say, cast a spell, guess what? They're gonna lose 2 life and you're gonna gain 2 life. That can go a very long way, especially when you're trying to disrupt things. And with all the life gain we'll be creating, it's a solid option to convert that opponent's life total to our win. For that, we have Avito Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Whenever you were to gain life, target opponent loses that much life. And the back end, we can pay 3 black and give all of our creatures lifelink. So pretty much we're gonna win the game at that point. And lastly, we have a True Legend of the Stars with Ravis Soul Tender. In addition to being a full Lord effect, it has the added bonus of consistently having a recursion option. Cards like this will absolutely ensure we maintain our legendary status. So those are the cards I want to include in the deck. Do you think it's a good upgrade? Are these the cards you'd include? I'd love to hear in the comments down below. Thank you again. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and remember, one more game is just never enough. Peace.